Welcome to the deep dive. We've just been working through this really gripping set of sources today. It involves a missing girl, a young woman searching for answers, just incredibly determined.
Yeah, it really pulls you in. We've got these powerful first-person pieces from Sadie, this young woman, and then it's layered with transcripts and recordings from a podcast called The Girl.
Right, The Girls kind of picks up Sadie's trail, looking into her disappearance and, well, related events that turn out to be pretty chilling.
Definitely.
So our mission today really is to untangle these threads for you. Sadie's personal quest, which is just raw and desperate sometimes, and then this broader investigation that follows her.
We want to piece together the sequence of events, understand who the key players are, and get a handle on the disturbing reality that emerges when you put it all together.
Okay, let's dive in. Where should we start? Sadie herself.
Yeah, let's start with Sadie. One of the first things you notice in her narrative is her stutter. It's constant.
And it's not just a minor detail, is it? It seems central to her experience.
Absolutely. She talks about how hard it makes just talking to people, how frustrating it is. But she's also got this fierce determination. She tries to push through it, even tries to sort of fake it out, she says, which sounds exhausting.
It really shapes her interactions, her resilience. So what's driving her? What's this quest all about?
It's her younger sister, Mattie. Mattie disappeared years back. She was 13, Sadie was 19. And finding out what happened to Mattie has become Sadie's entire focus, her obsession, really.
And she has someone specific in mind, a target.
Yes. A man. He goes by a few names in the sources. Keith, Darren Marshall. Sadie is dead certain he's connected to Mattie's disappearance.
And the sources clarify he wasn't actually Mattie's father.
No, not biologically. But apparently he sometimes let people think he was, even challenged Sadie when she knew differently. It adds another layer to their history.
And that history, her past in Cold Creek, it sounds really difficult.
Yeah, the sources sketch it out. Poverty, her mother's addiction. Sadie has this striking way of describing it, like a sleeping disease or a catching thing in the bloodline. And then there are these specific kind of chilling memories of Keith from when she was a kid.
Like what?
Like him making her say thank you for candy, almost deliberately it seems, to watch her struggle with her stutter. Or making her memorize prayers and recite them alone in her room at night.
That's unsettling. You can see how that past fuels her.
Totally. It fuels this mission as she hits the road. She's got a picture of this guy, Keith or Darren, and she's following these really faint leads.
One of the first stops is Ray's Diner, right, in Garnet County.
Yeah, and the description is so vivid, this like total 1950s throwback place. Red vinyl booths, turquoise counters, formica, a jukebox. You can almost picture it.
Who does she meet there?
A couple of key people. There's Saul, who apparently has this really intimidating voice.
Yeah.
And then Ruby Lockwood.
Ruby, she's worked there forever. Married the owner.
30 years, yeah. Married Ray. She's described as formidable, someone who never forgets a face.
So Sadie shows her the picture.
Right. At first, Ruby doesn't recognize him, but then later, something clicked. Ruby obviously tells the podcast host about it later.
Wes McRae, the host of The Girls.
Yeah, McRae. Ruby remembers asking the guy in the photo if he had kids, and he said no, like really firmly. And it stuck with her, made her wonder why he'd lie about that.
Interesting. And Ruby agrees to put up Sadie's picture.
She does.
Yeah.
Which is actually how The Girls podcast eventually gets on to Sadie's story. That picture connects things later.
Okay, so Ruby's the link. But where does Sadie get her next lead from?
That comes from a guy named Caddy Sinclair. Sadie finds him smoking near a dumpster. Her narrative notes his murky eyes, track mark. It makes her think about her mom again.
And she talks to him, despite the stutter.
She pushes through it, shows him the picture, demands info. And he eventually gives her a name, Marley Singer, in a town called Wagner. Says Marley would know about Darren Marshall.
Okay, but here's where it gets complicated, right? Because this podcast has Caddy's side of the story, too.
Exactly. And it's totally different. When Wes McRae interviews Caddy later, Caddy claims Sadie pulled a knife on him, threatened him.
Whoa.
Yeah. He says he just told her the truth, knew Darren years ago through Marley. He calls Sadie messed up, even says he wants to press charges for assault, mentions the switchblade.
So completely different takes on the same encounter. Shows you how perspective matters.
Definitely, especially when things are that tense.
All right, so Sadie heads to Wagner looking for Marley Singer. What's that like?
She finds Marley's house, and Sadie's narrative immediately notes it's not nice, suggests, real poverty, which becomes kind of important later when we meet her brother.
What's Marley like?
Visually, Sadie describes her white blonde hair, bright red lipstick, bony, wearing this old Mickey Mouse shirt, lines on her face suggesting a hard life, and there's a baby crying inside. Adds to the picture.
Is Marley welcoming?
Not at all. The first thing she says is basically, go home, girl. Dismissive.
But Sadie persists.
She does. And when Sadie says she's Darren Marshall's daughter, Marley just laughed. Really brittle, unpleasant sound, the source calls it.
So she did know him.
Oh, yeah. She confirms it. Says her brother took Darren under his wing back in high school. Calls her brother a real asshole, interestingly, even while saying they were good to Darren. Adds this phrase, "We're no better or worse than the people we walk among."
And she mentions finding something, a photo.
Yeah, a worn Polaroid. Found it in her brother's jeans pocket doing laundry years ago. She also mentioned she doesn't talk to her brother anymore.
I know.
Because he thought she was wrong about how she treated Darren. There's bad blood there.
Okay, so does Marley give Sadie anything useful?
Eventually, yeah. Maybe feeling sorry for her or something clicks. She gives Sadie another name for this man.
Another one?
Yeah. She says his real name is Jack Hirsch. But she warns Sadie he doesn't go by that, and maybe finding him isn't the best idea.
Jack Hirsch. Okay, so now we have Keith, Darren Marshall, and Jack Hirsch, all the same guy. And this name leads Sadie to Montgomery.
Right. And her first impression of Montgomery is intense.
How intense?
She describes it as just beautiful, like a movie set. Super affluent, gorgeous houses, perfect lawns, expensive cars.
That whole package.
Totally. Artisanal shops, nice cafes, a dispensary, yoga studio, new playground, everything Cold Creek wasn't. And Sadie instantly hates it.
Hates it. Why?
It goes back to her past, for you listening. It shows how that trauma, that poverty colors everything. She sees all this wealth, not just as nice things, but as this wall protecting these people from the kind of suffering, the poisonous longing she's lived with.
That makes sense. And it's in Montgomery she finds Marley's brother.
Silas Baker, that's him, living in this big modern house on a hill, solar panels, blue Mercedes, the works.
How does Sadie describe him?
Healthy, polished, almost like a Ken doll. It's such a stark contrast to Marley. And Sadie thinks, how weird is it that Silas chose this guy Keith over his own sister?
And then she follows him.
Yeah, it's an impulsive. Her narrative says she's never done that before. He drives out of town, maybe 15 miles.
Where does he lead her?
To this rundown, abandoned house. It's described as musty, dusty, smelling like decay, full of garbage.
And Silas just goes in and leaves.
Yeah, she watches him leave, then she waits a bit and goes in herself.
What does she find?
Inside, picking her way through the mess, she sees this painting that looked wrong, too clean, too intentional, and behind it, a hole in the wall.
And inside the hole?
A small metal box, light, with a padlock. When she shakes it, it rusts like money.
So clearly something is going on there. Why would polished Silas Baker be involved with a place like that?
Exactly the question Sadie's asking. It doesn't add up.
Okay, so she leaves the abandoned house. Back in Montgomery, she tries to blend in, right?
Yeah.
Uses a fake name.
Yeah, she calls herself Lyra, and she ends up at this bar, Cooper's.
Who does she meet there?
Some local teenagers. Silas Baker's daughter, Kendall, is one. Described as having this older voice, maybe from drinking or smoking, used to being noticed. Then there's Javi Cruz, deep voice, warm smile, seems really interested in Lyra. And a couple of others, Carrie and Noah. They're all talking about Montgomery High MHS.
And the podcast gives us Javi's side again.
It does. Javi talks to the girls about meeting Lyra. Mentions Cooper's is owned by Mr. Baker, Silas. He says he saw her dancing alone, thought she was beautiful, just wanted to be, in their orbit.
Sadie's narrative mentions her drink pap, shots, feeling this temporary control.
Yeah, this humming feeling, she calls it. But she immediately connects it back to her mom's addiction, that catching thing, that sleeping disease. It's always there for her.
Do they connect at all, Sadie and Javi?
Seems like it. There's a moment of vulnerability. Javi admits he's usually on the sidelines, not the guy who makes things happen. Sadie tells him she's glad he danced with her.
And then he invites her somewhere.
Yeah, to Noah and Kendall's house the next day. Gives her the address, 212 Young Street.
And that address means something to Sadie.
It clicks immediately. It's Silas Baker's house, the house she saw earlier.
So she goes. What happens there?
She goes the next day. Uses the bathroom upstairs, again noticing the luxury, how different it is from her life. Kendall's distracted. Sadie tries to grab Silas's phone, but doesn't get the chance.
And then things escalate violently.
Yeah, this is where Sadie makes her. She tries to stab Silas Baker with her switchblade, aims for his abdomen. No. Silas reacts incredibly fast. Grabs her by the neck, slams her face into the car's steering wheel. Hard.
Oof!
Sadie just goes limp, drops the knife. Her narrative describes this throbbing pain in her nose, realizing she's bleeding, not him.
And we know she was injured from other sources, too.
Right. Kat Mather, the hitchhiker she picks up later, confirms it to the podcast, says Sadie looked like someone clocked her in the face. Swollen nose, black eye, scraped chin that got worse over time.
So after this violent confrontation, Sadie leaves Montgomery, injured, but still going.
Still moving. And that's when she picks up the hitchhiker, Cat Mather, curly blonde hair.
And Kat gives her perspective to the girls' podcast later, describing Sadie's injury.
Exactly. Paints a picture of how beat up Sadie looked right after leaving Montgomery.
What happens with Kat in the car?
There's this moment driving in the rain where the car skids. Sadie struggles to control it. Kat tries to tell her what to do, which just frustrates Sadie. She knows what to do. She just froze.
And Kat doesn't stick around long.
No. They stop at a gas station. While Sadie's inside, Kat hitches a ride with some guy in a yellow truck and just takes off.
And Sadie finds out Kat did something else.
Yeah, when Sadie gets back to the car, the back seat's a mess. Her bloody shirt, the switchblade, they've been pulled out from under the seat. She realizes Kat was rummaging through her stuff.
Okay, so that's Sadie's journey through her eyes, her narrative. Meanwhile, the girls' podcast is doing its own digging. What do they uncover?
Well, they talk to Detective Sheila Gutierrez. She confirms Sadie Hunter is officially missing. Car found, no damage, no signs of foul play. The official police view, at least initially, is that she left voluntarily, due to her personal tragedy. But they say they're still keeping an eye out.
But then Javi Cruz does something huge, something Sadie wouldn't have known about.
Absolutely pivotal. After Sadie left Montgomery, after their encounter, Javi calls 911.
What does he report?
He reports finding a dead body in an abandoned house 15 miles outside of town.
The same abandoned house.
The exact same one Silas Baker led Sadie to. They even have security footage from a nearby convenience store, Rosemart, showing Javi pacing outside for 10 minutes before making the call.
But when the police get there, no body.
Nobody. Instead, they find a huge collection of child pornography.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's the moment, as the source puts it, where all hell broke loose. Officers apparently recognized some of the kids in the images.
So that's what was in the house. That's the connection to Silas Baker.
It seems so. This discovery turns it from a missing person case into this massive investigation into an exploitation ring. And for you, listening, it connects the dots why Silaire, what the hidden box might have been related.
And it all stems from Sadie's search, leading her to Silas, and Javi's reaction to her, to that house. It's this accidental uncovering.
An incredible, tragic chain reaction. And the podcast keeps digging, trying to figure out who this predator Keith Darrenjack really was.
They talk to someone named Ellis Jacobs.
Right. His former boss, Joe Perkins, calls Wes McCrae, says Ellis needs to talk about your girl, meaning Sadie.
Who is Ellis? How does he know Keith Jack?
Ellis is this young guy, 25, looks boyish, had a rough life. He met Keith, though. Keith used a different alias with him online. Met him through a game, actually.
Online? Okay.
Yeah, Ellis was in a bad spot. Keith helped him get a job at the motel Joe owned, helped him get a place to stay. Ellis initially describes Keith as a great guy, says they shared a common interest.
A common interest? That sounds ominous now.
Extremely.
Yeah.
We hear about Ellis from both Sadie's narrative and the podcast. Sadie actually goes to that motel looking for Keith's room.
What happens when she gets there?
The room's empty. She gets frustrated, angry, and just trashes the place. Ellis finds her there.
How does he react?
He's shocked, disturbed, calls her crazy for breaking in, but he hesitates to call the police because, he says, the stuff she's saying is too fucked up.
Does Sadie show him the picture?
She does. And Ellis identifies him, confirms it's the guy he knew, but he also confirms, again, that Keith wasn't his real name.
And Sadie pushes him.
Yeah, she challenges him.
Yeah.
Then tell me I'm lying. She senses he knows more, knows where Keith might be. She pleads with him, asks what it'll cost him, asks if he'll bet on some little girl's life.
God. And she mentions names. Tags.
Yeah. Casey, Anna, Joelle, Jessica, and then, chillingly, Sadie. She demands to see proof herself.
Does Ellis admit anything more?
He confirms they met through a stupid MMO game and shared that common interest. But he still tries to deny the worst. Insists the guy he knew wasn't involved in that kind of stuff, the stuff Sadie's talking about, even while identifying the photo. It shows the layers of manipulation.
So many layers.
Yeah.
And the girls' podcast is the one that finally puts the nail in the coffin regarding his identity and fate.
Pretty much. Wes McCrae interviews another woman, Amanda.
How did she know him?
She met him when he was using another name, Christopher.
Christopher. Good grief. So that's Keith, Darren Marshall, Jack Hirsch, and Christopher.
Exactly. You see the pattern. Each alias for a different context, a different victim pool. Amanda was a single mom working in a bar.
Let me guess, he was charming.
Textbook. Came in often, nice, attentive, didn't drink but ate there, made her feel seen, understood, good with her daughter. McCrae points out he targeted single mothers just as much as the children. Tells Amanda it wasn't her fault.
Did she notice anything strange?
Only that he seemed to have money but claimed he'd been mugged.
And then, what happened to Christopher Keith Jacks?
This is where the timeline closes in. He died in the hospital, sepsis.
From what?
From trying to treat a stab wound. In his left side, he died just days after the attempt.
A stab wound in his left side. That sounds...
Exactly. Putting the sources together, for you, the listener, it's almost certain that wound was from Sadie's attack on Silas Baker back in Montgomery.
Wow. So Sadie, she might have acted...
She likely inflicted the wound that led to his death. The man she was hunting is dead.
How did Amanda find out his real name?
After he died, she found money in his wallet, which contradicted his mugging story. And in his truck, she found an ID.
With the name Jack Hirsch.
Jack Hirsch. She contacted his parents, Marcia and Tyler, who were estranged from him. They came and identified the body.
Do we learn anything about Jack Hirsch's background before the aliases?
A little. Lived in Allensburg, Kansas. Moved away after high school. People remembered him, but hadn't seen him since. Just vanished into these other identities.
So this deep dive, it connects everything. Sadie's search, driven by Mattie's disappearance, leads her to confront this predator, Jack Hirsch, using the alias Silas Baker was connected to.
Right. She likely wounds him fatally. His death leads Amanda to find his real identity.
And Javi's 911 call, prompted by Sadie's visit to that abandoned house, leads the police to the child pornography, exposing the ring Silas was part of and confirming the nature of Jack Hirsch's common interests with people like Elliot.
It's this devastating convergence. Sadie's personal quest inadvertently rips the cover off this much larger hidden network of abuse.
The end of Sadie's narrative is haunting. Where does it leave her?
It's incredibly powerful and leaves you hanging. She approaches another house near a playground, sees a man and a girl on swings, feels like an echo of Mattie, maybe?
And she talks to a girl there, Nell.
Yeah, Nell. Reading a Babysitter's Club book, Nell seems older than her years, and Sadie has this awful thought. Does Jack Hirsch have Nell's tag?
Sadie's visibly injured by now.
Yes, her face is mottled. She's desperate. Tells Nell the house isn't safe, begs her to come with her, offers her $20.
Does Nell go?
No. She's clearly wary of Sadie's appearance, takes the money but runs away.
And Sadie goes into the house.
Lets herself in, notices all these ordinary details: hallway, kitchen, milk, sandwich, dishes, living room clock, TV, couch. The couch she'd imagined Keith on. She thinks he might be there.
What happens next?
Hears a floor creak upstairs. She heads up, then hears someone rushing through the house below.
Yeah.
Running from her.
So he was there, or someone was.
Seems like it. She runs back down, finds the back door open, leading out into woods.
And that's the end.
Pretty much the end of her narrative. She steps outside, and the world just explodes into a beautiful black night sky with more stars than I've ever seen. It's stunning. Stars flashing, sparkling, turning red, vanishing to black. Her head throbs. She thinks, he hit me.
He hit her, so he caught up to her outside.
That's what it sounds like. Then she sees one single pinprick of light. A star reappears, pulsing faintly. Alive. She falls. Her last thoughts are just firing, starting with Mattie.
And that's where her story cuts off in the sources we have. We don't know definitively.
We don't know her ultimate fate from her own words. We just have that ending and the police report about her missing car found later.
So we've traced Sadie's journey, this raw individual quest, and seen how it collided with this hidden network of evil that the podcast investigation helped expose.
Yeah. The stuttering girl searching for her sister, the podcast piecing together the predator's aliases, the discovery in the abandoned house. It all weaves together.
It paints this picture of, well, resilience, incredible vulnerability, and the sheer devastation caused by predators like Jack Hirsch operating in plain sight, hidden behind masks.
And it highlights how layering these different sources, Sadie's personal narrative, the podcast interviews, police reports, gives you, the listener, a much fuller, if deeply disturbing picture.
It really makes you think about how someone like Jack Hirsch could move through the world like that, with multiple identities causing so much harm, leaving victims unanswered questions.
The damage just ripples outwards.
It really does. And it leaves us, and maybe leaves you, with a pretty heavy question. In a world where people can construct different identities, online and off, how much can we ever truly know about those around us? And what happens to everyone involved when those hidden, often ugly truths finally get dragged into the light?